Hello YouTube, Freddie Cardona here. Welcome to another edition, a Christmas Eve edition of Driving and the News. We have a special treat for you today. We're going to actually go pick up my mother-in-law, and then we're going to go over to our in-laws for Christmas Eve. And with me in the car today is Mrs. Cardona. Say hi, Mrs. Cardona.
Hi, everyone.
All right, let's get into the news.
Street and Avenue A. James Cunningham was a Spike's regular. He lived nearby. He reportedly had a seltzer before he left that bar, then got into an argument with his attacker outside a nearby vacant store that just went too far. Police said he was rushed to Bellevue Hospital where he was pronounced dead. You can take a look at that suspect up on our website. We've got those pictures at 1010wins.com. And if you know anything about this, call Crime Stoppers. You can do so anonymously, 800-577-TIPS. And a male in his 60s was sucker punched last night in the head by an unidentified suspect at West 29th Street and 9th Avenue. He was knocked to the ground in this freezing cold. There was no word on how long he was lying there. But this morning at 3:30, he was rushed to Bellevue as well. He's now in critical condition. Police say there are no arrests just yet. Well, hours after 3 people were killed and 3 others wounded in a shooting officials call a racially motivated attack outside a Kurdish cultural center in Paris Thursday, community members turned their ire to police.
French officials say this crime was racially motivated and that he clearly wanted to target foreigners. Last night we saw members of the Kurdish community gathering to hold a vigil, but that sadness quickly turning to anger as violent clashes erupted between police and protesters. Protesters hurling objects at police, setting trash cans on fire.
So we're going to pick up my mother-in-law, and she'll be in the car, so you will probably hear Mrs. Cardona call her and ask her to come down. Oh, don't want to put on any commercial music here.
So lovely. Thank you, Destiny's Child NORAD, responsible for monitoring the air and the skies above North America, is also quite busy today, tracking Santa Claus as he delivers presents this Christmas Eve. He is busy. Lieutenant General David Nahom says that volunteers are fielding phone calls from children who want to know where Santa is in anticipation of when he will get to them.
Santa will report this in real time, and we make sure all the information is on the website, and our 1,500 volunteers have all the information to answer all the questions for the children as they call them.
And I've got that answer to the question that the children are asking right now. Santa just left Johannesburg, South Africa, and he is on his way to Mozambique in 42, 41, 40 seconds. Wins News Time, 3:37, 1010 Wins Entertainment News in 30 seconds.
Parents, did you know that high school dropouts make 42% less than graduates? Someone will have to make up that difference.
Do you guys see that building on Market Street that's being built? I don't ever remember that building in the skyline when I'm going down Market Street here in Paterson, New Jersey. I decided to make this a Pride in Paterson / Driving in the News video. Since it is Saturday, and I usually do I usually upload a Paterson video. But I'm wondering what that building is. Miriam, if you're watching, we got a new building to look out for. All right, let me put the news back on.
Legend herself, Miss Dolly Parton, making good on that promise because she actually is making a rock album, and some fellow icons will be joining her. The name of her upcoming album, what else would it be? Rockstar, an endeavor she first teased, what you just heard last month, when she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Among the classes slated for the project, Prince's Purple Rain. I won't do any more than that. I will save you. The Rolling Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, and Leonard Skinner's Freebird.
So that officer just redirected me. There might be some police activity over there on Market.
Aerosmith Steven Tyler will show up on the album. How could he refuse? Dolly Parton, I mean, come on.
Could be a Christmas parade of some sort.
Right here on 1010 Wins News Time, 3:39.
I live alone and rarely have visitors. So when I slipped and fell in the kitchen last month and couldn't get to a phone, I knew I was in trouble. Help! I could barely move.
I saw Santa Claus over there.
I couldn't help but think of my kids and grandkids having to go on without me. I was terrified. It took 8 hours for my neighbor to find me. It could have been the end of me. That's when I knew I needed Life Alert. Just one press of this button, I'm connected to the Life Alert Center, where I can get the help I need, even when I cannot reach a phone. With Life Alert, I'm never alone.
Call 1-800-244-8805 for your free Life Alert brochure. That's 1-800-244-8805. Again, 1-800-244-8805. Call for your free Life Alert brochure at 1-800-244-8805 today.
You know that spot where our signal gets a bit staticky? Well, you can fix that with a flip of the button right now to 92.3 FM.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon, 14 degrees. It is 3:40 on your Saturday, December 24th. I am Stephanie Officer. Here's what's happening. Yesterday's deadly storm affecting half the country is also making for some tough travel. After 2 years, Christmas Eve celebrations are back in person in Bethlehem, and Pope Francis speaking as we speak. An Arizona judge tosses another false claim of election tampering, this time in that state's governor's
School
race.
15 right there, guys.
Last month. A mental health resource on Twitter
We have some detours because of a parade going on. See this area? I had a fight here once when I was a kid in School 15, right here by these stairs.
14 degrees, going up to 18, no matter, real feel, -5. It's news time, 3:41, time for traffic and transit on the ones. Where are we going, Jody Dale?
Well, Stephanie, it's still pretty crowded up in Connecticut, so let's tell you what's going on. It's that crash near Norwalk. It's northbound on the Connecticut Turnpike, still crawling from Darien up to exit 16 at East Avenue. All lanes still subject to closure. Route 7 is packed as everyone heads to the Merritt. On the island, clearing out a crash, Southern State eastbound at New Bridge Road, and that left shoulder is blocked. It's not bad on the LIE Northern State. Queens and Brooklyn loaded up on the belt in LIE. Eastbound LIE looks like a stall to BQE. It's slow all the way to the Nassau line. Grand Central delays between the Clearview and the Q, and looks like we have a crash or stall to BQE. Jammed on the Cross Island. This is off the Frog's Neck down to the LIE. East River crossings. Crash on the Brooklyn Bridge eastbound. That's being cleared. And east side of Manhattan, we're seeing it's a little slow to split for Harlem River Drive and the FDR near the RFK Triborough. West side is clear, which is good. If Santa and his reindeer start out there first, you know, there's a chance I may be peeking at NORAD. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. It's about 15 to 20 inbound at the GWB. Outbound, it's about 20 to 25, 10 to 15 at the Lincoln, and about 20 at the Holland. I'm Jody Vale. Next report's at 3:51. 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
And on the West Side Highway, hey, good money to see that. Wins news time, 3:42. Well, from 50 degrees to freezing, what a difference a day makes. Forget about the wind chill. That takes us even lower. Right now, it feels like -5. But yesterday's storms led us to this serious drop in temperature. And for what to expect for the rest of the holiday weekend, we turn to meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's going to remain blustery and frigid as we head into tonight. Temperatures mostly in the teens. Real field temperatures near or just above zero throughout much of the time into tonight. And Christmas Day tomorrow still going to be cold. We'll still have a gusty wind, but it is not going to be quite as harsh as today. Well, high temperatures into the upper 20s. Real field temperatures still in the teens to near 20 into the afternoon. But again, not feeling quite as harsh. And we'll continue that warming trend into Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures will even get above freezing by Tuesday, and there will be less wind as well.
Of course, you can always stay with us right here on 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM, 1010wins.com, and the Odyssey app for all of your updates. Called a once-in-a-generation storm, yesterday's weather impacted more than half of the nation. Upstate, hundreds of drivers were stranded overnight into today on the roads. So far, we now know 3 people died in separate instances where EMS could not get to patients in time to get them medical attention. Yesterday's deadly storm also brought flooding to New York's coastal areas, caused Governor Hochul to declare a state of emergency in Buffalo after a record almost 22.5 inches fell yesterday at the airport. 73,000 homes in New York State do not have power. We told you last night the National Guard would be deployed, and that has happened. They are right now upstate helping with medical emergencies. This morning, Governor Hochul spoke live in the Rockaway.
We have search and rescue operations continuing throughout the region, and the basic message is we're going to continue to keep warming centers open, encourage people to stay home. Roads are closed throughout Western New York and will be probably through Christmas Day.
The New York State Thruway is still closed upstate. Governor Hochul is also saying she's asking the federal government to be reimbursed for what New York is spending on this storm. She says the city, meanwhile, is still in a dangerous situation because of these icy cold temperatures. And the weather, snagging up travelers at the nation's airports, our area included.
There are some scattered cancellations listed on the boards here, including flights to Buffalo and the Bahamas. This man just arrived from Las Vegas. He says his flight was delayed for 3 hours, but it wasn't too bad.
The flight was delayed. It was coming from JFK itself to Las Vegas, so we already know it was delayed, so we didn't have to sit at the airport.
Jordan Rencher is heading back to Atlanta after a quick trip to New York.
So far he says it's on time, so we're just hoping that it stays like that.
Another family was too upset to talk. They said their flight and their whole vacation have now been canceled. Holly here, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM at Kennedy Airport.
So it looks like the Grinch may just show up this year as the weather. Let's hope it stays that way, because two major companies say their deliveries have been slow.
FedEx and UPS both say the severe winter weather's disrupted service at key hubs. For UPS, those locations include Louisville, Kentucky, and Rockford, Illinois. FedEx said it experienced severe disruptions Thursday in Memphis and Indianapolis. Both shipping giants warn this means shipments could be delayed due to these problems and the priority of keeping employees safe. One final lump of coal comes from FedEx, which reminds customers that shipments delayed by inclement weather are not eligible for a refund or credit. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Winter News Time 3:46.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS is cracking.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Freddie Cardona, and I have several programs that I upload to YouTube. One is Driving in the News, Pride in Paterson. One is Driving in the News. Another one is Pride in Paterson. And yet another one is Fred Drives. And you're kind of getting all three, at least the main three today. Don't know if you guys have seen my Fred Drives Christmas Eve Yule log, but I'm driving. And that one is just listening to Christmas music. I'm going to be playing that as a tradition every time I'm wrapping gifts or trimming the tree. And this video is actually two videos in one. It's Pride in Paterson, because we are driving in Paterson. And it's Driving in the News because we are listening to 1010 Winds with Mrs. Cardona. All right, let's get back to it.
Rejected Kari Lake's effort to overturn her own election loss. The Republican was defeated by Kate Hobbs in Arizona's governor's race last month. Lake had repeatedly made false election claims, the crux of her campaign. Today, a state judge saw right through them, tossing out Lake's last-ditch effort to overturn her defeat, citing lack of evidence of misconduct by the Maricopa County Election Office. The trial lasted 2 days in Phoenix, following more than 6 weeks of claims by Ms. Lake, who is a Republican. Lake has said she would appeal an unfavorable decision. Lake is a former Phoenix TV News anchor who lost by about 17 votes to Katie Hobbs. She is a Democrat who was the Arizona Secretary of State and rose to national prominence when she resisted efforts by Trump loyalists to overturn the vote in 2020. Wednesday News Time 3:48. Well, at this hour, Pope Francis is celebrating Christmas Eve Mass at St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City.
Nel nome del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo. Amen. La pace sia con voi.
Wednesday News Time 3:48. Officials in El Paso, Texas, dealing with a
that light is both red and green. Look at that.
Scrambling this Christmas Eve to
we don't know what to do.
To shelter the crowds, since it's extremely cold for that city.
El Paso opened an emergency shelter with 1,000 cots inside its convention center, but hundreds of migrants could be left out in the cold since the partially federally funded shelter is open only to migrants who've already been processed by the Border Patrol. El Paso officials say they're working with churches and other nonprofit organizations to shelter more migrants who have not been processed.
Correspondent Jeff Glore with that report. Wednesday News Time 3:49. More mess for Twitter. The platform has now restored a feature that promoted suicide prevention hotlines and other safety resources after coming under big pressure from users and consumer safety groups. Therefore, the hashtag #ThereIsHelp was at the top of searches for certain topics, including sexual child exploitation, COVID-19, gender-based violence, and mental health. But the feature was yanked this week. The platform's new owner, Elon Musk, was reportedly behind that decision. Now, after Reuters published a story about this, Twitter's head of trust and safety confirmed the removal, but said it was only temporary.
All right, guys.
Fixing and revamping those prompts. But then Musk turned around.
We're gonna go
and
pick up
contradicted
my
that,
mother-in-law,
denying the feature had ever been removed, calling the Reuters report
bring her
fake
to
news.
my
What time is it?
in-laws'
Well,
homes.
here, of course, this is Christmas time. It's a fraught season for many.
We want to thank you guys for joining us on this Driving in the News / Pride in Paterson video. And we'll see you on the next one.